You can manage your time absolutely perfectly and still feel trapped, because most people don't actually have a time problem, they have a systems problem. Ahoy and welcome back to another episode of The Captain's Log. Today I want to talk about the difference between time management and systems thinking. Time management focuses on the hours, whereas systems thinking focuses on your life. It's looking at things as a system. Time management helps you to get things done, whereas systems thinking helps you to remove yourself from the process so you don't have to do that thing again. And once you understand that difference, everything changes. When things only work when you are part of the system or when you're involved in the process, then you are the system, and that means you are also the bottleneck. Let's actually break that down. I've taken some notes here and I want to really make the distinction between time management and systems thinking so you can understand it clearly in your mind and how to approach things differently with a systems thinking mindset. So the first thing is that time management is about doing, whereas systems thinking is about designing. Time management improves efficiency, whereas systems thinking actually removes the effort. Time management depends on your discipline, whereas systems thinking depends on the structure you create. Time management asks how you can do the task faster, whereas systems thinking asks, do I even need to do that task at all? Time management schedules your workload, whereas systems thinking redesigns the ecosystem. Time management responds to the day, whereas systems thinking shapes the day before it even starts. Time management organizes tasks, whereas systems thinking eliminates tasks. Time management measures hours, whereas systems thinking measures outcomes. Time management is reactive, whereas systems thinking is proactive. Time management creates order and systems thinking creates freedom. These distinctions really matter because they really show you where your energy is going, and it can really reveal where you feel trapped or stuck. And they point to a truth that most people miss. You don't need to manage your time better. You need to build a system that stops consuming your time altogether. When I hit burnout, it wasn't because of a time management problem. I often felt like I had no time to do things that I wanted to do. And now looking back, I know that wasn't true at all. It was in fact because I had not built the systems to support or enable the lifestyle that I wanted to live. I had discipline, I had a schedule, I had time management, I had structure, and what I didn't have was a system. Time management got me through the day, but when I started building systems, that's when I got my life back. A really important thing to mention is that the only valid test of an idea, concept, or theory is what it enables you to do. It's the only test. So if you're designing a business that's completely trapped you and you're not actually enabling the lifestyle that you would like to live, is that business actually successful? Let's say it is making a lot of money, it's profitable, and it's considered to be a successful business. But is it the business that you wanted to create to fulfill the kind of lifestyle that you wanted? Are you living your dream life? Because in that sense, if it doesn't meet that metric or that test, then is that business really successful? Here's a metaphor for you, just to explain the difference between the two. I used to be a rower and I also was a sailor at some point in my life. When you're rowing, you physically have to be in the boat. You know, if you're not in the boat, or if there's, let's say you turn up to the wharf one morning and you're wanting to row a boat and there's just one of you and the other teammate doesn't turn up, that boat's going to go in circles. So you physically have to be in the boat to row. You're physically exerting yourself. You're putting those oars in the water and you're stroking and you're propelling that boat to go forward. Okay, you can do it more efficiently, you can plan, you can train, you can get into a nice rhythm with it and the boat will move better, more efficiently than before, but you physically have to be there to row that boat forward. That I would consider to be time management. Now, a sailing boat, on the other hand, to me, this is a metaphor of systems thinking, because I can spend some time to build a sail, and I can put that sail up, and the wind will now carry me forward. Okay, and I can do other things while I'm on the boat. I don't physically have to be on the deck rowing that boat for that boat to go forward. Yes, I've invested in time and materials and design to actually build that sail so that that boat can now sail through the ocean using the system or the ecosystems around me to propel me forward. And I don't physically have to exert myself to get that boat moving, to travel to where I want to go. So those are the distinct differences. That's a great metaphor for time management versus systems thinking. And the moment when you start letting the systems do the work, that is when you experience freedom again. Now, this is not optional anymore. We are living in a world where the rate of change is moving so fast, it's exponentially fast, that if you try and keep up with things through time management, you are sure heading for a burnout. The only way to deal with what's coming, or the world that we're living in, is to design systems that will evolve and keep up with the complexity that is being created around us. You cannot outplan complexity, but you can design for it. Now I invest quite a bit of my time to build systems. And sometimes it's very hard to do, to put yourself in a mindset of actually, no, I'm going to spend my morning actually improving one system or process or removing one part of the process from my business, because I have client work to do, I have projects to do, I have podcasts to edit, I have things to do, right? Or podcasts to write. I'm now sending these off to be edited. If I don't have the discipline around building the system, then I'm going to be kept in this perpetual state of keeping up with the business and of putting out fires. So I am taking a concerted effort to spend time each week or each morning even to do some deep work on developing a system for my business. My second brain system is a perfect example of this, because before I had to remember everything in my head, and now I've got my second brain system that I've built a whole heap of automations, and it's pulling things into my second brain, so I don't have to remember every single thing that I'm used to have to. So it gives me a lot more cognitive capacity. And I'm tweaking that second brain system each week and improving on things. And that is what systems thinking offers. It offers space, freedom, clarity, and autonomy. If you're constantly managing time, then you are in fact the system. And when you start designing systems, the systems become the engine. And that's actually when your life will start to open up. Freedom doesn't come from managing your time. That is actually a trap. You are creating a prison for yourself. Freedom comes from designing the systems that will enable you to live the lifestyle that you want. You can do it piece by piece. You don't have to look at this system design as this big, large thing that you need to tackle all at once. You can just choose little pieces of this system, little tasks that you're having to do repeatedly, and you can focus on those. Just choose the high value thing and eat the elephant, as they say, and build a system slowly, piece by piece. And here are the reflective questions for this week. Where are you managing time instead of building a system? What is one high leverage task you could automate or remove this week? And where could a system give you your time back? And that's it for this week's episode of The Captain's Log. If that resonated, do like and subscribe to the channel. And do share this with somebody who might need to hear this message at this time. And other than that, I do have a bunch of resources on my website, rixley.com. So do go and check that out there. And also, you might want to check out The Leadership, which is a school community for leaders navigating change. We're basically teaching and learning systems leadership from each other in there. A lot of AI tools and systems, a lot of systems thinking stuff. So you can check that out. The link will be in the description below. And until next week, hold fast.